Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Booming with Bella. I am your host, Bella Linez, and we're back already. This is like record turnaround time for me, so I'm excited. We have some things to talk about. Very briefly, what I want to go over in this episode is the Bob Marley One Love movie. I'm so sorry, my dog is playing tug with herself. And normally I film this episode in a different room in my house, but because she's been howling for the past hour and a half, I figured I should be in the same room with her just to make sure she's good. Okay, so what I want to talk about in this episode, I very briefly want to go over the Bob Marley One Love movie, and then we're going to talk about the Usher halftime show. I might want to put a little snippet in about Beyonce's Renaissance to country era. We'll see how long we go on. The Bob Marley One Love movie. So we went February 17th, which was my grandmother's birthday. Happy birthday, abuela. And I personally really liked it. I liked that it wasn't a typical biopic where it didn't cover his life from start to finish. It didn't go in chronological order, I guess, because they did obviously show like flashbacks from when he was a kid and like how he and Rita fell in love and how they started out as the Wailing Wailers with Simmer Down and in flashbacks, all in flashbacks, if this makes any sense. It started, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm not really spoiling it, I don't think. It started right before the Smile Jamaica concert, and it ended right after the One Love concert in Jamaica. So it basically started and ended when he was performing in Jamaica, because those were two really big moments in his life. And obviously like a lot of his children had big parts in the movie, executively producing all that stuff, so they really made sure that it was like true to Bob. One thing I will say is, if you don't know anything about Rastafari, definitely maybe like look it up. They speak it. They also speak with very heavy Jamaican accents in the movie. And there's no subtitles. I know that was a problem for some people in the audience. Fortunately, I read the oral history of Bob Marley a couple years ago, so I was able to kind of understand what they were saying, because in the book it's an oral history, so the author literally wrote it how they said it, so a lot of it was the same language. That's a little tricky, and they also don't include every single detail. A lot of it you kind of have to just know or read between the lines. Because I read an oral history, I was able to pick up what they were putting down, almost like see who a background character was, explain why something happened a little bit more in depth to my parents, or me and my cousin were talking, especially about the time that Bob got shot. And I was like, I think it was like a mix of the political thing, but then it also could have been aimed at this one guy because he was doing a lot of shady business. So the two of us were kind of like talking about that, trying to figure out, but they don't mention that in the movie. They just kind of keep it moving, because that, I guess, that's just not the focus. The importance of the shooting was the fact that he was able to go on and perform right after, because he was able to show them that like they didn't get him, they didn't stop him. And I did like how a lot of it was about him and Rita, and it definitely showed how Rita was the main influence in his life and the reason that he did everything he did. I do wish they explained a little bit more about why he didn't get treatment for his cancer, because I know that from what I read, that he didn't want to get treated because they would have to cut off his toe in order to keep the cancer from spreading, and that would affect how he performs on stage. Like, he wouldn't be able to dance around like he likes to, and part of the reason that he does that is because it's like spiritual for him, and also because their religion doesn't believe in Western medicine. They didn't really explain all that, and they don't explain that afterwards Rita and the family was able to find out that there is a history of melanoma on Bob's father's side. So all of that is tied into it. But what I did like is that they didn't show him dying, because I don't think I would have been able to handle that. First of all, I started crying probably from like 30 minutes to the ending, just the whole time. And I don't think I would have been able to handle seeing him die. The actor that plays him, like, I don't even know his name. He's just Bob. He literally is so good. The actress that plays Rita, so good. I'll pull up the cast right now. I was a little disappointed because people on Letterboxd are not giving it good reviews. I don't think they know what they're talking about at all. I think they went into this movie with certain expectations and those expectations weren't met. There is music in this movie, but there's not a whole lot. And I think it's fine that way because it was more about his message and his desire for unity and positivity. Kingsley Ben-Adir was Bob Marley. Lashana Lynch was Rita. They did amazing jobs. They definitely stole the show. Redemption song, I always kind of like understood its meaning and its gravity, but it didn't hit me until like fully 100% did I understand why it's in the oral history. There's a section in the end where the author asks every member of Bob's family that he could, the band that he could, you know, people that were close to Bob and the family and the band, what their favorite song of his is, and a lot of them say Redemption Song. And it wasn't until I heard it in the movie where I absolutely lost it. Was crying very much. Beautiful song. I definitely think if you are a Bob fan, go watch it. I think if you want to know more about Bob, definitely go watch it and then maybe like watch a couple other documentaries. I know Rita has one out herself, or she has a book out too. The kids talk about it. There's a whole like unsolved mystery, Who Shot the Sheriff documentary, I think on Netflix, where they talk about the shooting. Or there's the oral history of Bob Marley by Roger Steffens. That's a good read as well. It's a little tough, it's a little heavy, but I think if you want to know more, those are definitely great options, and there's plenty of other options too that I'm probably not aware of off the top of my head for you to learn about Bob and his life if you want every single detail. But I think the movie does a good job of giving you the overarching gist. And I think if he were here, he would have been proud of it. He would have loved it. The only thing I was a little like upset that they didn't touch upon was Zimbabwe, because I know how going back to Africa was a huge deal. That probably I would have added in somehow. I mean, they mentioned it, but they didn't actually talk about like the concert and how he was literally just like he had his hotel doors open and was just giving people money, shoes, the clothes off his back, literally everything. But yeah, side note, there's a documentary from Yolanda Salavida about Selena, giving her side of the story. No, thank you. No, we don't want it. We're not watching it. We're not giving that conniving little old lady any money. She will be denied parole. There's no way she could walk the streets. I'm sorry. I cannot believe that that was allowed. And I am just upset that the family, the Quintanilla family, has done nothing to prevent this documentary from coming out. When Chris tried to write a book about her, and Chris tried to write a show about their romance and their love story, and they put an immediate stop to that. They were like, nope. Why would you let the woman who killed her share her side of the story, but you wouldn't let the love of your daughter's life share the story of their romance? That to me tells me almost everything I need to know. And you could come at me with, oh, they might have not have caught it, blah, blah, blah. They put out a statement, you know, legal issues, whatever. They literally had contracts out to make people sign so that nobody else can tell the story of their daughter's life. So the fact that the documentary is called like Selena and Yolanda, or Yolanda and Selena, like that has her name in it, and you would think that they have a name, image, and likeness deal or whatever that nobody can use except for them because that's how they like it. And there was even an issue with the Netflix show. It had to be a certain amount of years after the movie was done, so their contracts didn't like coincide or something, because that would have been illegal. So don't tell me that they couldn't have done anything about this, because I think that they could have. And it's out there. Some people want to watch it just to see what she has to say. It's more of a like, really bitch kind of viewing. Personally, I don't even want that. So keep her name out your mouth. Miss Yolanda. Keep her name out your mouth. See, Nala's growling. She's not even happy about Yolanda. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. I don't care. I don't believe anything she says would ever justify what she did. We all know what she did. We all know she's guilty of it. We all know she was an obsessive stalker. So I don't care. You did it. Now go back to jail. That's my little rant. Now for Usher and the Super Bowl. So I've rewatched the performance, I think like 3 times now. Because the first time, obviously live, I was under the impression that Justin Bieber was going to come out. Along with the whole world. So I was sitting at the edge of my seat like this, waiting for Mr. Bieber. That was all that was on my mind. I don't think like half of the show registered with me at the point. I had also just almost died because I was choking on a tortilla chip and it got stuck in my windpipe, which, by the way, Diet Coke did the trick. That thing went straight down after about 30 minutes of like throwing up and choking. So that's a good tidbit. Don't ever say I didn't give you any life hacks here besides just music, okay? Diet Coke gets anything stuck in your throat right out. Anyways, so I wasn't fully there for the performance. I thought I was. I really wasn't. The second time, me and my coworkers were kind of like going through and deciphering it, like little by little. But unfortunately, that was like a week ago. And so I watched it again yesterday because I wanted to make sure that I had all my right thoughts out. And so here is what I tweeted that I wanted Usher to perform. Because he didn't listen to me at all. So I said, in no particular order, this is my set list. Somebody to Love remix, Without You, Caught Up, Scream, More, Rivals, I Don't Mind, DJ Got Us Falling in Love, OMG, Yeah, You Don't Have to Call, Love in the Club, You Got It Bad, You Make Me Wanna, Boyfriend and Good Good, and if Promise was snuck in there, I wouldn't be bad. Also, Spotlight. I completely forgot, and then I tweeted like yesterday because it popped in my head that there could have been a possibility, a tiny, tiny, tiny possibility, especially because his whole thing was like, this is huge for the A, Atlanta, ATL, whatever. Tiny, tiny possibility he could have brought Gucci Mane out. And they could have done Spotlight. I think I would have lost my mind. Also the fact that he brought like Ludacris out, like there was a chance he thought about that. And that's all I need. The idea that he thought about, what if I brought Gucci Mane out and we did Spotlight? Right? Okay. So obviously half of the ones that I wanted were not in the set list, and that's fine. I also did want My Boo. I just didn't write it there, but I do think about like that one Vine. Baby, it started when we were younger, you were my boo. I think about that Vine like all the time. But okay, so we're gonna go through my notes as I'm watching it. This is what I was thinking about. So the rating U may cause singing, dancing, sweating, gyrating, and possible relationship issues was funny as fuck. I only got to see when I was watching it live, like rating U, and I thought that was funny. But once I went back the third time and I was like, oh my god, the fact that it's like, this just completely sums up the whole show. Singing, dancing, sweating, whole lot of gyrating, and possible relationship issues. If you know, you know. I'll get to that part. So the opening with Caught Up, obviously fire. I love Caught Up. That was one that I did want. A thought that I had was that so many random people were just absolutely launched into air. Are they okay? Why? Was that on purpose? Were they acrobats? Like literally just when you would see a person flying in the background. Okay. And I wanted to know, I haven't been able to see like any influencers or anything like vlogs from it, but I wanted to know if the audience sang when he said sing. I know like later on you could hear it more clearly, but at the first couple parts you couldn't really hear it, so I didn't know if they were like actually singing super loud. Like I'm thinking of like the Katy Perry when she said sing it during California Girls. Also, camera work was absolutely atrocious. I'm sorry to whoever was working the camera, but it was nothing like last year's. It makes sense why the group from last year's won a freaking Emmy, because This year, the camera, like, at one point literally went like, shoop, moved to the side, and like nobody was there, and then had to zoom back to Usher. It was a little bit of a mess. That's fine. So I wrote down Usher dancing to Love in This Club like I dance when I'm on mark number 3 and my song comes on in the club. You know exactly the part what I'm talking about, where his hands are up in the air and he's just hip rolling, body rolling all over the place. I was cracking up. It was just funny to see him like that. The timeline was like really upset about this, and I noticed it too my second 2 rewatches, but the fact that they completely AI fixed Alicia Keys's mess up, that's bad. We all heard it. Twitter was talking about it forever. I was like, you might as well just leave it in the YouTube clip. Like, I'm sorry, Alicia, but that was bad. That was bad. Loved her fit though. I absolutely love the bedazzled red jumpsuit. Some people are saying that when Usher joined her at the end of If I Ain't Got You, it was like more of a reassurance thing after her mess up. They also say that about the hug, which comes back up to the possible relationship issues warning. Cause I, for one, thought he was looking at, fondling, outlining, touching her butt quite often. And then obviously the hug, the hug heard around the world, or the hug seen around the world. Swiss Beatsy put out a statement. He was like, nah man, we're cool. I don't know. Some people say that hug was also one of reassurance after she messed up so badly. But I don't know. I think Usher's just Usher. But it was so funny because my mom and I also were like, hold on, who is that, when Jermaine Dupri came on? And this was a question in our house, but also apparently everyone on Twitter thought the same thing. Was that CeeLo Green on Ozempic? Is that CeeLo Green on Ozempic? Now, I don't know if it was the angle or what that people thought it was CeeLo Green. I too was confused at first, and I felt really embarrassed for someone who knows all about Atlanta hip-hop, the Atlanta music scene, to have confused Jermaine Dupri for CeeLo Green on Ozempic. But apparently me and my mom were the only ones. That made me feel a little bit better. That was so funny. That poor man, he just turned into a meme. And those like 30 seconds that he was on stage, not even, like CeeLo Green on Ozempic, and then the socks. Everyone was making fun of his socks. So then when he goes into confessions, I wanted him to do the watch this, that he does from his NPR Tiny Desk performance. Like, it's such a meme. Unfortunately, this was the part where it started to get really slow. And I don't know, like the songs are fire and it's R&B and it's real true R&B and they're hits and I love them. But there's something, I don't know, I guess it's just like the vibe of the Super Bowl. You expect it to all be like super upbeat, especially because like if you're sitting at home, you watch the halftime show to like get you pumped up or something. I don't know. It was just, it felt a little slow to me. I guess I wasn't the only one. A lot of people were saying the same thing, that it was great, but it was like slow. His hip roll was cracking me up, like the way that he would just like randomly hip roll. And don't even get me started on when he freaking stripped. Like, it happened so fast. I thought he was gonna do like, just take off the jacket. But then it was like immediately the shirt's gotta be ripped off too. And it was just so funny how it was like, it seemed like a moment of desperation. And that was during You Got It Bad. So that was just really funny. And the dancing there where he's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but he's like stepping really tiny and moving, like almost like popping and locking. No. But you know what I'm talking about. The one that's also a meme where people are like me when there's a bug on me. Stuff like that. And it was cool to see her whip out her guitar and like come up, even though the timeline was like, is that Northwest? Did Kim get Northwest on the halftime show? No, that was her. But I also heard that all instruments are pre-recorded because obviously they don't have enough time to do sound check and make sure everything's tuned correctly, and so that every single instrument that's being played goes 100%. So there was memes of her like strumming the guitar and there's no guitar, or like not strumming the guitar and there's an obvious riff being played. But she probably actually did do that riff. She just pre-recorded it, and her coming out was more for show, which good for her, like slay. But I just thought that was interesting because I guess I never really put that together, but it makes perfect sense. Like you can't have all that many instruments like move completely seamless. I was like fully on Twitter a couple days afterwards, like spending all my time like soaking up as much as I could about what people thought about this performance. The timeline was very confused with these special guests, which I thought was really funny because they thought even will.i.am was Kanye West. That could have been extremely problematic. I thought it was funny because like everyone was on roller skates for oh my god, and will.i.am was like no. He just came out in his little boots, and Usher's like roller skating by, and it was just funny. Then Turned Down for What happened. Why? I could have lived without it. I love you, Little John. I really do. But it's still too soon for me to hear Turned Down for What and get excited to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, it's still too soon. My thought is maybe it was a cover for Justin Bieber. My thought is maybe Usher's original plan was to do Oh My God Into Somebody to Love remix, like kind of like the opposite of that performance that was like trending on Twitter that everyone was talking about from back in the day, because the stage was purple too. Like every time the stage turned purple, I was like, he's coming out, he's coming out, he's coming out. No, never. But that's my thought of like maybe that's what that was. It was like a small little cover. I don't know. Whatever. I would say At OMG obviously is where the vibe started to pick up again, which apparently people hate that song. I love that song. That song hits every day. Maybe not every day, but like every day the time that I listen to it, I'm like, oh yeah, such a good song. But I love this, like, I loved this for Little John. Like, he just got to go on stage and just do his ad-libs, like, yell his yes, and like, he got to perform at the Super Bowl, you know? Like, that's just so cool. Ludacris, I was so happy to see him. I know they did like a whole lot of promo with him beforehand, so like I should have just thought that that was obviously happening, but I was so excited to see him. You know, a lot of people, when they talk about the beginning of Atlanta rap and everything, they often leave Ludacris out of the conversation, especially my generation, because I guess we saw him more as with Tayo Cruz, Justin Bieber, like that kind of rapper, and Usher. But I'm thinking My Chick Bad, I'm thinking Southern Hospitality, Stand Up, Welcome to Atlanta, Consider It Brother, Moneymaker, Roll Out, How Low, Pimpin' All Over the World. Like, I'm thinking that Ludacris. But obviously that was kind of before my generation's time. Like, we knew him mostly with Justin Bieber, Tayo Cruz, and Usher. So I was really happy to see him. I thought it was really funny that Freak a Leak was playing in the background. I love that song. I still often listen to that when I'm working out. But it came up on Twitter that apparently for Yeah, that was the song that they originally wanted to sample, but it didn't work out, so Little John flipped it, and that's the beat that we hear now. So it was kind of interesting to get to hear kind of both. But yeah, and the A-Town Stomp, legendary. I may have only lived in Atlanta for 4 years, but I obviously have such pride for Atlanta, just being a fan of hip-hop and at least like getting to say that I lived in Atlanta during a time where they were really setting the foundation for Southern rap. And, you know, obviously my favorite rapper of all time is Gucci Mane, so I love Atlanta rap specifically so much, and Atlanta trap and everything that it's grown into. So seeing them A-Town Stomp was so cool. And the stage bouncing, like, that's how much energy was freaking going into that, like, last 90 seconds of the performance. And the ending was so hyped, like, I wanted it to keep going. But it was cool to see Usher, Ludacris, Lil Jon, and everybody, like, in front, like, jumping and, like, I don't know, I liked it. Is it my favorite performance of all time? No. I can't believe that flew out of my mouth so quick. Personally for me, it's always gonna be J-Lo, Shakira, Bad Bunny, J Balvin, Swing Latino. That's always gonna hold a special place in my heart. Even Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, like, that's always gonna be probably number 2. But I don't know, I did like it a lot. I just felt like majority of it was slow. And the thing is, Usher has plenty of upbeat songs. They're just not his R&B songs, which I think is the sad part because his R&B songs are so good and they're hits. So it's like you want him to perform those, but then you're like, but I want the energy to be on 10. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious as to if people like Usher's better, if they like Rihanna's, because a lot of people were like, Rihanna didn't dance. So I don't know, but I personally think both of them were really great. I probably would have put Rihanna's above it just because it was more upbeat. But don't get me wrong, I love Usher's music and I loved his performance. I just think it could have been a little bit more fun, more upbeat, more energetic. Like, I would totally go to his Vegas residency or to an Usher concert and like fully live in like that R&B music and stuff. But I think for the Super Bowl halftime show, it's just like such an energetic event that you kind of want it to be more of a party. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I wish it was more of a party, like the last couple minutes were. But yeah, and so this got me thinking of like, so I see very clearly that the NFL is in like a 2000s, 2010-ish kind of major artist that they're trying to get to perform at the halftime show, because, you know, it went to Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, 50 Cent. Before that, J-Lo, Shakira. Oh, I missed The Weeknd. I'm sorry. I always forget about that one. And then obviously Rihanna, Usher. So I think that they're like at the phase where it's like 2000s, maybe getting up to 2010s of like the type of performer that they're looking at. And so I went through my list of obviously like who I think could do one. My number one that I think should have one is Miley Cyrus. I would absolutely die for that. That is the one that I want really, really bad. She just has so many different bodies of work and different eras that I think that she could cover during the Super Bowl halftime show, and it would be so fun. And even if she like completely ignored Hannah Montana, which I wouldn't want her to, but even if she did, like, it would still be a freaking party. So I think Miley Cyrus for sure. But I was going through my throwbacks playlist, right? And I'm gonna tell you like who I think could do it. So the first one I had was Akon. Now hear me out. Hear me out. We have Angel, we have Beautiful, we have Right Now, and then, oh, we have Smack That, Don't Matter, a couple other songs. But then he has songs like Sexy Bitch, Who Dat Girl with Flo Rida. He's on Wyclef Jean's Sweetest Girl, Play Hard by David Guetta with Neo, Better Than Her, Matisse, Bartender, T-Pain. He could bring out, I think, Eminem, again, Wyclef Jean, Cardinal Official for Dangerous, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, or Flo Rida. I think he would be kind of fun. I do. Then obviously Justin Bieber, which is another one now that people are like really calling for. He could obviously bring out Ludacris, Usher, Big Sean, Nicki Minaj, Jaden Smith, Far East Movement, Tyga, Sean Kingston. He could bring out whoever the fuck he wanted. But I know the whole world would love that. The whole world would love that. He just needs to like get up and work, as Kim K would say. So I also wrote down Neo, because think about Give Me Everything, Miss Independent, Closer, Let Me Love You, Let's Go, Play Hard, Sexy Love, She Knows, Turn All the Lights On. Like, obviously his would also kind of be like Usher, so it would be a little slow, but I just think it would be so fun. He could bring out Pitbull, he could bring out Juicy J. He could bring out T-Pain. Like, I just think it would be cool. Obviously Mariah Carey is another one too that I think it's a little bit past due. She could do Fantasy. She could do We Belong Together, Touch My Body, Always Be My Baby. Oh my god, Heartbreaker. She could bring out Jay-Z. Shake It Off, Obsessed. She could bring out Gucci Mane if she really wanted. One Sweet Day, bring out Boys to Men. It's Like That. She could bring out Jermaine Dupri again, and Fat Man Scoop. I would absolutely die to see Fat Man Scoop perform. I always say that I want him to MC my wedding. She has Beautiful. She could bring out Miguel. Like, she has so much. Unfortunately, she probably wouldn't be able to do All I Want for Christmas Is You because it's a little bit past Christmas time. But still, I think hers would be a good one. People have also been talking about Drake, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj doing a performance, and I think that would be dope. But even if like just Nicki Minaj were to be like the headliner, she could obviously bring out the two of them. But she could bring out Justin Bieber, Flo Rida. I'm visualizing like where them girls at and like him coming out, or him doing a show and then her coming out at that moment. We'll get to that in a second. She could also bring out Rihanna, Beyonce for Flawless. Even though Beyonce's done it like 3 times, she probably doesn't want to go again. She could do Natasha Bedingfield, Sean Kingston she could bring out for Dirty Love. And then she could she could bring out Meg Thee Stallion and Ty Dolla $ign. I think that would be the ultimate gag. The ultimate gag after all this beef for her to perform Hot Girl Summer and bring out Ty Dolla $ign and Meg Thee Stallion. Like, everything's good here, we squashed it. Or it would be the ultimate dig if she performed that song and left Megan Thee Stallion out of it. Then I think that would be like declaring war. But yeah. So another one I have is Ricky Martin. I don't know if he's done it before. I feel like he might have, but him coming out with Daddy Yankee for Drop It On Me I think would be dope. Another one I have on my list, Sean Paul, because they're in that 2000s era, right, of music. And if they did Sean Paul, we would get like Temperature, like Glue. We would get I'm Still in Love with You. One of my favorites, Feel Alright. Get Busy, Contra la Pared, Give Me the Light, We Be Burning, Baby Boy, She Doesn't Mind. He could even do his more recent stuff like Rockabye, bring out Anne Marie, or like Dua Lipa for No Lie. I think he has a song with SZA too. Not SZA, Sia. He could do those, but I was thinking more like bring out Rihanna for Break It Off, Jay Sean for Do You Remember, Keisha Cole, bring out Pitbull. For some reason, I don't know what song that they have together. Oh, Shake Sonora remix. But I also feel like he just would bring out Pitbull for some reason. I don't know. Beyonce, Lil Jon even. I think those would be cool. And then I also think a possibility that could happen, like I for some reason very strongly feel like this could be a possibility, DJ Khaled. Obviously DJ Khaled does not do much except for scream DJ Khaled and We the Best, Major Key Alert, another one. But I think that he could do that, but then he could bring out people like Rick Ross, Bryson Tiller and Rihanna, T-Pain, SZA, Justin Bieber and Quavo, Pitbull, Future, Drake, Jay-Z, Beyonce, literally anyone in rap I think he could bring out. So that's another idea that I have. Now for my favorite ones that I have written here on this list. So we'll start with Flo Rida. I think Flo Rida would be fantastic. I always say that I want to go to a concert. So I think he could bring out, obviously, Nelly Furtado for Jump. I think he could bring out T-Pain for Low. He could bring out LMFAO for Run. If LMFAO reunited, that would be dope. Just saying. He could bring out Pitbull. I actually don't know. Oh, Can't Believe It. They have Can't Believe It together. He could bring out Nicki Minaj for Where Them Girls At. I'm picturing him just go, so many girls in here, where do I begin? And then like it panning over to Nicki. Like I could totally see that happening. So I think that one would be fire. Obviously Akon, they could do Who Dat Girl. Love that song actually. He could do Sia for Wild Ones. I feel like that one would be definitely one that he brings a guest out for. He could bring out Kesha for Right Round. And then okay, so say he brought out Kesha for Right Round and then it went into like a little bit of a small tiny Kesha mashup where she does like Die Young or TikTok real quick. Like really quick. Kevin Rudolph for Let It Rock. No, that's Lil Wayne. So Lil Wayne could bring out Kevin Rudolph and they could do Let It Rock. But I'm thinking of You Make the Rain Fall. I'm thinking of You Make the Rain Fall. That's a good song, by the way. But he could bring out him. He could bring out Lunch Money Lewis for one of his newer songs, I think Greenlight. He could bring out Wyclef Jean for... He could bring out Sage the Gemini for Going Down for Real. He could bring out will.i.am, again, Be On You. He could bring out Neo. He could do Timbaland. Jason Derulo for Hello Friday. I saw one talking about like Jason Derulo could do a halftime show if we really, really thought about it. Then the response to that was like a clip of Jason Derulo doing a TikTok dance and they were like, you want 14 minutes of this? My answer to that is also no. I don't. What song does he have with Wyclef Jean? Oh, Rewind, Wyclef Jean. I love Flo Rida, and I think, like, if you ever see clips from his court appearance where he was suing Celsius Drinks for, I think, not paying him when he was a Celsius ambassador, they, like, start playing his music. You say this song went certified, whatever, platinum, diamond, whatever, and he's just, like, and they play snippets of each of it, and he's just kind of, like, vibing out to himself. Like, the man has so many hits. I think he could easily do a halftime show, and all of us love it. So that's Flo Rida. My next one, Timbaland. He's problematic, I know. Who the hell isn't, by the way, nowadays? Like, what the actual F? He could bring out, obviously, Justin Timberlake and Nelly Furtado. Katy Perry, If We Ever Meet Again. I guess people don't know that song, but me and my sister love that song. We will ride for that song. He could bring out JoJo for Lose Control. I actually listened to that in the car today. Good song. He could bring out Drake. He could bring out Carrie Hilson. He could bring out Missy Elliott. Also, somehow, okay, if he were to bring out Carrie Hilson, I would love for Carrie Hilson to bring out Nelly. They have a song, Live Tonight, together. Because I think I would just love to see, like, Nelly at the Super Bowl. Or, like, Nelly perform. I kind of love Nelly. Or, oh, if a country artist were to ever perform at the Super Bowl, for them to bring out Nelly. Because people don't talk about Nelly's country experiment or whatever. He's been trying to do what Beyonce just did with Texas Hold'em for years. He could either start, depending on who's the main performer, he could either start with Just a Dream or Over and Over Again, whichever one's with Tim McGraw, or he could start with Die a Happy Man. But either way, and then he could go into like country grammar. But yeah, I think Nelly would be cool. Timbaland could also bring out Missy Elliott. Duh. Or Missy Elliott could bring out him. Up to her. One Republic. You know how I feel about One Republic, but they could do apologize, and I think One Republic would need that for their ego. And he could even bring out Madonna for 4 minutes. I know Madonna's already performed, and she's already performed in my lifetime, but I love 4 minutes, so yeah. Okay, and then my two big ones. My two big ones, are you ready? T-Pain and Pitbull, that I think could do it. T-Pain has said that he wants to do it, but some guests that he could bring out are Akon, Mike Jones, Baby Bash, Flo Rida. They could do like a combination thing. Nelly, he could bring out Nelly and we could have our little Nelly moment, right? Yeah. DJ Khaled, he could bring out Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx have a little moment. And then Jamie Foxx could bring out will.i.am and they could do Hot Wings, I Want to Party from the Rio soundtrack. I'm just playing. Unless he could bring out Jesse McCartney for Body Language. I've always loved that song, but it's just resurfacing in my daily queue. So he could bring out Lil Wayne and he could bring out Pitbull. Or Mike Jones, if I didn't say that already. Or he could bring out B.O.B. He could even bring out Wiz Khalifa for 5 o'clock in the morning. He has so much. Like, I would love to hear All I Do Is Win, Bartender, Akon, Best Love Song without Chris Brown, Blame It, Body Language, Buy You a Drink, Can't Believe It, Hey Baby, Drop It to the Flow, I Don't Give a Fuck, I'm in Love with a Stripper, Kiss Kiss, Low, Shake Snore Remix, I'm Sprung, Turn All the Lights On, Up Down, 5 o'clock. Like, all of those songs I would absolutely love to hear. And I think with that right there, easily if you did a minute of each of those, there's your halftime performance. I think he could do a really good job, especially now that everyone's like loving him without auto-tune. Which, by the way, I've been to that. So, and I just want to take this moment. I'm not getting paid to do this. I wish I was. But go stream his new song, Dreaming. Because he said that this is the first time he's going solo from his label and they didn't believe in him at all. So go stream it. There's no auto-tune. It's just T-Pain actually singing with his real voice. And we deserve to give that the same love that we do his auto-tune features and songs. So here's my little tangent. I will never, ever, ever let any disrespect on T-Pain's name. And for the one that I've been saying since J-Lo and Shakira, which I was so mad that they didn't bring him out, but my only justification is that maybe they want him to have the full 14 minutes himself. Pitbull. I mean, come on. I don't understand. The fact that it was in Miami too, like, are you serious? No hate Shakira and J-Lo, because obviously that is my favorite performance so far, but not having Pitbull in Miami? NFL really dropped a bag there. I think they should rectify it, and this is just a list of all the people that he could bring out. Ready? Yin Yang Twins, Lil Jon, Shakira, Neo, Enrique Iglesias, whatever, let him have his moment. Hopefully he won't gyrate on the floor for 15 minutes like he does at the Trilogy concerts. Jay Sean, J-Lo, again, Akon, Usher, Nina Sky. I don't know if they have a song together, actually. Like, I can't tell if it's a Mandela effect, but I think that would be fire. I think that if he were to perform, he would bring them out. Nelly, Ricky Martin, Mark Anthony, not my brother, Mark Anthony, T-Pain, Sean Paul, Flo Rida, Chris Brown, Christina Aguilera, Daddy Yankee, Elephant Man, and Machel Montano. Okay, here's my vision with Elephant Man. So he has the Shake remix with Ying Yang Twins and Elephant Man. Even if he couldn't do Ying Yang Twins, which I think he should. So my vision right here. Pitbull starts off with Bojangles, which is also with Ying Yang Twins. From there, he goes into Shake remix. So then you have Pitbull, Ying Yang Twins doing these two songs. Elephant Man pops in for a Shake remix. Then Elephant Man goes into Wine Up with Cataluna. Cataluna shows up. Cataluna does Run the Show after Wine Up, brings out Busta Rhymes. And then Busta Rhymes goes into Touch It. That is so, like, not a Pitbull moment, but still, that chain of reaction is like what I want at the Super Bowl. Like, surprise after surprise after surprise. Give me them all. I would be out of my seat dancing for sure. He could bring out even Austin Mahone for, yeah. I don't know if that would be the popular guest amongst the audience, but whatever. Machel Montano, he could bring out for All Right. Fire song. I heard it out at a bar once and I almost lost my shit. So that's a good one. He just has so many good, like, the possibilities are endless with a Pitbull one. And I'm thinking, like, if you were to bring out Shakira, it would be for Rabiosa. If you were to bring out J-Lo, it would be for On the Floor, and then maybe, like, Live It Up. Oh, why didn't J-Lo bring out Wisin and Yandel for Follow the Leader? She fumbled the bag there. If he did Daddy Yankee, he would do the Gasolina remix, and then I think he would allow Daddy Yankee to go into Lo Que Pasó Pasó and maybe Drop It On Me. I really would die to see Drop It On Me, like with Ricky Martin. I love that song so much. That would be something. Mark Anthony, I think, would be fire if he brought him out. Sean Paul again, like, something about it, like, I just see them on the stage together. I think he could easily do, like, Gulo into have Nina Sky come out and do Move Your Body. And then bring out Sean Paul. But that's the vision that I see in my head, and I feel like I could go into better depth of this, like, literally map it all out, but I don't want to do that and disappoint myself if none of it ever happens. So yeah, that's just my little 2 cents on the Super Bowl. And I know some of these artists wouldn't even have to bring out guests if they didn't want to. Like, they could fully just do it on their own like Rihanna did. But the only way that I'm gonna get to see all the artists that I want to see at the Super Bowl perform would be if they brought out guests. So that's just why I come up with all these different people that they could bring out. But to wrap this up, Beyonce and her Renaissance country era. I didn't mention country as one of the genres that I thought was going to take over the world in 2024. And I think that was just a hater moment. I'm not a big country girl, especially since it became so politicized. Not a country person. And I also haven't been into Wyoming in like 2 years, so when I'm in Wyoming, usually I get in my like country horse girl personality, but I haven't been in a couple years, so I haven't seen that version of me. That aside, I guess I could have called this because there has been a creeping of black country artists really like starting to take off. The first one I noticed, I'm going to my country playlist, it's called Horse Girl. It's a picture of me and this horse that I've ridden multiple times actually. Obviously Darius Rucker has been there. Nelly tried. He's still trying. But the first one that I saw in the past year and a half or so, not even, like the past year, is Camille Parker. Specifically, her song Heartless is the song that I'm looking at in my playlist right now. Then Shaboozey with Let It Burn. And his latest single is called Annabelle. Great song. Both great songs. I actually really loved them. Then, I think I just spoke about this before, but I took a Peloton ride with Kendall Toole and she was playing this new artist, Tanner Adele. And she played her song Buckle Bunny. And I downloaded it and then I went through and I listened to all the stuff that she has out. Downloaded that, really liked it. Ended up following her and Shaboozey on Instagram. And Tanner Adele's been teasing a lot of new songs that are actually like really good. So there's these guys, and then Beyonce comes out with Renaissance Act 2 and it's all country. And let me tell you, 16 Carriages is beautiful. Makes me want to cry, so I don't listen to it that often. Texas Hold'em, I'm addicted. My friends, we're all addicted. My coworkers have been talking about it. Like, people that normally would shit on Beyonce for just whatever reason they may have, I don't agree. In my mind, there's no way you could possibly ever shit on Beyonce. But they're listening to the song. I'm seeing people create line dances on TikTok for the song. It's everywhere. And I am ready for it. I'm here for it. I'm excited. I guess I also could have seen this resurgence of country coming just because of, I worked at a country station in 2023. And let me tell you, the country audience is different. They are 10 times more devoted than I don't know, any other like audience that I've ever seen. They do not care. At the country station that I worked at, we gave out tickets to concerts a lot of times. The amount of people that would drive to a random car dealership or an Ashley furniture store to come try to win these tickets, insane. So there was that, and then obviously, like, kind of with concerts going on, like even Bad Bunny's concert this year is a little Western themed. In my mind, Western and country is a little different. Don't get me started. That's a tangent for another day, but it's still like cowboy hats, boots, and that was a vibe for a couple concerts last year too. So it's just interesting how it was like creeping, and I kind of wanted to like not acknowledge it, but now it's obviously to the point where it would be stupid to not acknowledge, and it is going to take over. I mean, the minute Beyonce releases the album, it's going to be country the rest of the year. And it's funny because like Lana Del Rey is releasing a country album this year. I think Taylor Swift is going to release Debut before Reputation, because if what people are saying is true and they think that Act 3 is rock, I think Reputation kind of aligns a little bit more with that. Not that the two would ever compete, but I think maybe this time they're working hand in hand to like take over the music industry completely, like set the tone for each year. Because if Beyonce's setting the tone with country, I think Taylor Swift's gonna join right behind her and release Debut. And then if Beyonce's setting the tone again whenever for rock, then I think Taylor's gonna join. Or if Beyonce takes another 2 years to release Act 3, I think Taylor might release Reputation first, and then Beyonce will keep the momentum of like kind of rockish vibes going with Act 3. Because I do really love the whole thing that Beyonce's doing, where she's reclaiming genres that were created by Black people and, you know, bringing it back, because we can even see the direct influence that just Act 1 had and how it's impacting music that's still being released to this day. And Act 1 came out in 2022. I also think it's really funny that a lot of country artists are saying that they're moving away from the genre this year. It's like they caught wave Beyonce's gonna drop country music and they're like, I can't compete with that. I'm gonna have to release something else. I don't know, I think that I might have to get a cowboy hat and another pair of cowboy boots, because I just have my riding boots and those are covered in mud. And they're my mom's. But I'm kind of excited. I think it's cool. I really, really respect what Beyonce's doing. She's so freaking creative. I think that country music is gonna really surge this year. And I'm not too upset about it, especially if it's going to bring up Black artists like Shabuzi, Tanner Adele, and Camille Parker. So yeah, those are my thoughts. This is another long episode, guys. Am I beating my little procrastination and insecurities? Like, I think I might be. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I have put plenty of stuff out on the blog, TikTok, obviously a couple episodes. I've been trying to be more active on Twitter by just like tweeting my music thoughts, and Instagram, so make sure you're following me on all of those. And I've been retweeting stuff on SoundCloud. I want to do a whole separate episode on SoundCloud DJs, SoundCloud music, SoundCloud mixes, because for the past 2 years, I found myself really, really using that for when I exercise, and getting a lot of inspiration from that when I make my playlist. So I do want to do a whole episode on that and give a little love to the DJs that I've been listening to. That'll be a whole nother episode. So I just wanted to say again, thank you very, very much for tuning in. And like I said previously, make sure you're following me everywhere. Instagram is Isabella with 2 A's, Lainez. Twitter is Bella, Lainezxo. TikTok is, my personal is just Bella Lainez7. And then the Booming with Bella TikTok is Booming with Bella. If you have any questions, concerns, interests, artists you want to send me, music you want to send me, want to talk about coming on the podcast, absolutely email me at boomingwithbella@gmail.com. The blog, my Apple Music, my Spotify, my SoundCloud, all of that is in my link tree, which can be found in my Instagram and my Twitter and on the website. And I think the blog as well has a link to all other links. So I have tried my best to make it as simple and as universal to find. Unfortunately, Bella Linez is not a username that is available to me across all platforms, so I had to get a little creative on some. So I apologize for that. That's why I created the link, so you guys can reach everything without any issue. All that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye!